The reason why Voyager had this golden record of human sounds and music was because this is one of the first several spacecraft launched with a trajectory that would never return to the solar system at all. And so if it never returns, there's a chance it could be discovered by some alien civilization. And if they do discover it, let it be this emissary of who we are and what we stand for.
There's something out there. Humanity's most distant explorer, Voyager 1, has discovered an anomaly at the boundary of our solar system that is illogical and shouldn't be there. Could it be evidence that we are not alone, or is it just a glitch or some unidentified cosmic phenomenon? Pay close attention, since the recent discovery confirms the existence of an alien invasion. Voyager 1's main objective since its launch in the late 1970s was to investigate the outer planets before venturing into the uncharted territory beyond of our solar system. It swung by Saturn and returned stunning pictures of its rings after speeding past Jupiter and photographing storms on its surface that had never been seen before. Then it simply continued. By 2012, it had crossed the helopor, the imperceptible line separating interstellar space from the influence of our sun. Already, this was a momentous occasion. However, it has now made a discovery so strange that even seasoned scientists are unsure of how to interpret it, even 40 years after launch. It's obvious before we get into this that what Voyager 1 recently discovered is much more startling than anyone anticipated, and you will be stunned by more discoveries than this one. The helop functions similarly to an unseen shield. The majority of the harmful cosmic rays and high-energy particles that speed through deep space are blocked by it. However, something unexpected is taking place at this barrier. Strange vibrations in the magnetic field that shouldn't be there are being detected by Voyager 1. Nobody anticipated how these waves would reverberate throughout space. The figures are not consistent. It was always thought by scientists that this area of space would be quiet, nearly motionless, and that the magnetic field would only slightly fluctuate. However, the instruments of Voyager 1 provide a different picture, one that raises the possibility that something or someone is resisting the very edge of our solar system. Why are these ripples occurring? The million-dollar question is that, according to some scientists, it might be a whole new form of energy that has never been observed before. An encounter in interstellar space between the solar wind and an unidentified factor. Some speculate that they might be signals from the Milky Way's deep regions, echoes of a massive, strong object in motion in the distant. However, the truly bizarre notions point to something even more disturbing. What if we are being approached by something? Are these signals evidence that forces beyond our knowledge are affecting our solar system? According to data from Voyager 1, there appears to be an unanticipated force pressing against our solar system's edge, as though the helop itself is being compressed. Might this be the result of surrounding stars' powerful stellar winds? Or is our solar system under pressure from a more powerful invisible force? According to others, these waves are caused by enormous energy currents that are moving through the galaxy, perhaps even from somewhere outside of the Milky Way. If accurate, this would completely change our understanding of how energy travels through space. Here's the real kicker though. These variations are not arbitrary. They follow a pattern, something recurring and constant. There is more than pandemonium going on out there. It is adhering to regulations that we do not yet fully comprehend. Is there any chance that the helopause is functioning as an antenna, receiving signals from far away in the cosmos? What is sending them, if anything? Has an interplanetary discussion been taking place for billions of years, and we are only now beginning to listen in? Voyager 1 may be detecting a vast, unidentified energy system that spans the galaxy, according to some experts. This spacecraft might have discovered something genuinely revolutionary if that is the case. An invisible force that connects solar systems and may potentially govern the motion of planets and stars in outer space. This would imply that our solar system is a part of something much greater than we could have ever dreamed of, rather than merely existing in a vacuum. Data was not all that Voyager 1 was transmitting. It demonstrated that space is more dynamic than previously believed. Imagine that space is a complicated network of invisible forces that construct invisible bridges between stars, rather than a large, empty nothingness. In ways that are beyond our comprehension, these energy currents may be transmitting signals that connect entire solar systems. Everything we believe to be true about space is only a start if this is the case. It sounds like science fiction that the universe functions according to a secret system of interrelated energy flows. However, it might be the basis for everything. And if that's the case, the satellite's decades-long work may be more significant than we, music, ever realized. The satellite's longevity was never anticipated when it was launched in the late 1970s. It was constructed using technology that now seems appropriate for a museum, but it's still out there, continuing to move ahead and communicate with its home base. It has crossed the border between our solar system and the rest of the galaxy, traveling farther than anything that humanity have ever made, and it is returning data that has scientists baffled. How could such an old spacecraft be bringing to light things we didn't even know to search for? We are more than 14 billion kilometers away from the satellite. Nevertheless, it keeps whispering back, offering hints of what is beyond. Each bit of information it transmits is like a signal from the edge of existence, pointing to something more significant that we haven't yet discovered. We believed that we comprehended space. We believed we had a map of our solar system's boundaries. However, satellite discoveries continue to disprove our theories. At the outside of our solar system, we find unusual signals, unexplained forces, and interactions that go against our preconceived notions. Then comes the crucial query: what does the real world look like outside of our solar system? Could these energy currents, if they are genuine, indicate the presence of something more, something perceptive, something watching? For generations, we have pondered whether we are the only ones. And the question gets louder with each move the satellite makes. The barriers we believe to be unbreakable have already been broken. What if we simply haven't discovered out how to understand the clues that it has been giving back all along? Elon Musk has commented on this, describing the results of the satellite as a warning to humanity. We must create something better, quicker, and more intelligent if we hope to venture outside of our solar system and conduct a thorough exploration of the cosmos. SpaceX has advanced spaceflight. However, even the most sophisticated rockets available today are insignificant in comparison to what will be required to send people outside of the heliosphere. We may lose our opportunity if we don't take action right away, because space isn't empty, as the satellite is demonstrating. There are powers within it that we never anticipated. The possibility that distant sites in space could be connected by energy fields creates both intriguing and terrifying possibilities. What else could move down these channels if energy could? Is anyone else listening? Or are signals being sent along these currents by somebody out there? Every bit of knowledge the satellite provides ought to cause us to reconsider how we perceive the universe. These days, it's not only about planets and stars. It has to do with the unseen structure that connects everything. What if there is life outside of our solar system, not only in the ways that science fiction depicts them, but in ways that we haven't even thought of? Could forces at our solar system's periphery be related to something else if they are interacting with interstellar space? What if life is already present, but we aren't able to identify it because it doesn't match our limited expectations? Life has always been perceived as having to appear a specific way. However, the cosmos doesn't operate according to our laws. We're only now beginning to realize that it does what it wants. The satellite is no longer merely a spacecraft. It serves as a reminder of our ignorance. It has sent signals back from places that no human will ever visit in our lifetimes, going where no one else has. However, it might not be by itself. Every odd signal and every inexplicable data spike can be a mystery just waiting to be solved. Perhaps it's a cosmic whisper from something far older and more developed than ourselves. Whether the universe is full of unknowns is not the question. Are we prepared to confront them then? What might be the purpose of invisible bridges in space? Were they made, or are they natural? Could some of the mysterious signals and sightings that scientists continue to discover be explained by these energy pathways? We must pay attention if the satellite is detecting signs of anything more significant, because the more we learn, the more it feels like we are only beginning to piece together the universe's true tale. Not to mention that the satellite is still in motion. It continues to transmit back whatever it can as it moves farther into interstellar space. Even though its technology is outdated by today's standards, it continues to function despite being alone in the icy emptiness. And that ought to make us question how and why. In spite of everything, how is this small, antiquated machine still functioning? Perhaps something outside is assisting it, or perhaps we simply don't know what forces music is passing through. This task isn't finished. That much is clear. The satellite never ceases to amaze us, even when we believe we have learned everything there is to know. Our preconceived notions about the solar system have already been altered by it, and now it is making us consider even more significant issues. What does the universe conceal? What lies on the other side of our comprehension? Although the satellite may not survive forever, the findings it makes will be remembered for many centuries. In the midst of an endless, uncharted galaxy, we inhabit a small planet, and despite all, the satellite continues to inform us that we have only just begun to explore. We will be stranded on this one small world forever, wondering what might have been if we don't keep moving forward and explore. The indications are coming in. There are clues. We just need to decide if we have the courage to follow them. History was made by this satellite. However, numerous other satellites have likewise altered our perceptions of space and the surrounding environment. We've been launching satellites continuously since people first made the decision to send objects into space. Everybody is contributing something fresh. Of course, everyone is aware of Voyager 1, but let's discuss the others, the ones who influenced our daily technological use and how we perceive the cosmos. Others are still out there circling the Earth doing their thing, while others made history and others failed. With Sputnik 1, the Soviet Union began the space race in the late 1950s. All it was a radio signal on a metal ball. However, it did prove one thing. It was feasible to launch objects into orbit. Other nations were forced to take space seriously after that little satellite caused a global panic. Next came Sputnik 2, which brought with it a stray dog from Moscow named Laika. Although she didn't return, her journey demonstrated the effects of space travel on living things. Although it was a depressing tale, it was significant. The United States retaliated in 1958 with Explorer 1 because it did not want to fall behind. This tiny device accomplished something enormous. It discovered the enormous regions of high-energy particles that are confined around Earth, known as the Van Allen radiation belts. Scientists' perspectives on space and how they planned upcoming flights to protect astronauts from radiation were altered by that discovery. NASA then adopted a different approach in 1960 by launching the first weather satellite, TIROS-1. This one sent images of clouds and storms from space, looking back at Earth rather than deep space. It marked the beginning of something significant, transforming weather forecasting from a well-informed guess into a legitimate scientific field. Echo 1, a massive metallic balloon, was launched in the same year. Although its only function was to bounce radio signals back to Earth, that straightforward feat helped to establish the foundation for contemporary communication satellites. The Hubble Space Telescope, which was introduced in 1990, revolutionized space exploration. Hubble had a perfect perspective of the universe and was able to take amazing pictures of galaxies, nebulas, and exploding stars instead of having to deal with Earth's filthy atmosphere. It had its share of issues as well. First blurry vision, then ongoing fixes. But after NASA rectified it, Hubble turned into one of astronomy's most useful instruments. The 2005 launched Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter looked toward the red planet, while Hubble concentrated on deep space. By taking high-resolution pictures of Mars, it assisted researchers in locating potential landing spots and searching for evidence of water. Mars became more and more like a destination that people may one day visit with each new image. Then there is the 1999 launch of the Chandra X-ray Observatory. Chandra did not observe visible light like other telescopes did. Rather, it saw strong X-rays from black holes, far-off galaxies, and dead stars. It revealed the universe to us in previously unimaginable ways, demonstrating that there is violent and vibrant activity even in the most remote regions of space. Back on Earth, people's navigation was subtly altered by the Global Positioning System, or GPS. This goes beyond being a space nerd. Pilots, drivers, and even those simply looking for a decent restaurant use GPS satellites. GPS, which was first developed by the US military, is now a universal tool that helps people stay connected and on course wherever they are. It would be impossible to discuss space without bringing up the International Space Station, of course. This enormous floating laboratory was constructed in the late 1990s and has housed astronauts from all over the world conducting microgravity experiments that are impossible to conduct on Earth. It serves as a symbol of global cooperation, demonstrating that nations can cooperate to advance research even when they have different viewpoints. Music. Next up is SpaceX's Startling project, which intends to encircle the Earth with a network of tiny satellites to deliver fast internet to any location on the planet. Although it's a game-changer, not everyone is pleased with it. Some astronomers worry that an excessive number of Starlink satellites could result in hazardous space debris, while others claim that the satellites degrade the night sky. It remains to be seen if this is a future catastrophe or a fantastic invention. Voyager 2's mission was much more ambitious. It was to travel farther and visit planets that had never been observed up close by a spacecraft. Voyager 2 was designed to surpass its twin, Voyager 1, in terms of pushing boundaries, traveling farther and seeing more when it was launched in the late summer of 1977. Voyager 2 took the slow path, in contrast to its twin, which rushed past Jupiter and Saturn before launching into deep space. This spacecraft was positioned to visit Uranus and Neptune, two planets that Voyager 1 never approached, in addition to Jupiter and Saturn. A unique planetary alignment enabled the spacecraft to slingshot from one globe to the next, using their gravity as a cosmic highway, enabling the entire voyage. Voyager 2 was prepared to make history after some astute modifications and enhancements. Voyager 2 was unique not only because of its destination, but also because of its design. The weak light surrounding Uranus, Neptune, and the ice giants required adjustments to its cameras. Researchers developed new techniques to stabilize those cameras over extended exposures, ensuring that the images were crisp and free of streaks of blur. Engineers developed more intelligent data compression techniques to make every bit of information matter when sending data back to Earth from billions of kilometers away. Since solar panels wouldn't function that far from the sun, the power supply presented still another significant obstacle. Rather, Voyager 2 was powered by nuclear, although even it had its limitations. NASA devised a rigorous timetable for operating the instruments, turning some off to conserve energy and extend the spacecraft's lifespan for decades. The largest planet in the solar system, Jupiter, was the first significant destination for the expedition. There, Voyager 2 captured breathtaking views of the Great Red Spot, tremendous lightning strikes, and whirling storms. It also saw Jupiter's moons up close, exposing ice-covered oceans on Europa, erupting volcanoes on Io, and other strange, unexpected environments. Next came Saturn, where the spacecraft had a close-up view of Titan, the planet's largest moon, and its intricate ring system. However, Voyager 2 continued on, aiming for the lesser-known planets at the solar system's boundary, in contrast to Voyager 1, which concentrated on Titan. Voyager 2 was the first and only spacecraft to sail past Uranus in early 1986. What it discovered was a delicate blue-green planet with almost no cloud formations, a planet that appeared uncannily smooth and featureless. However, there was more going on than first appeared. The planet's interior was probably organized differently than scientists had previously thought, as evidenced by the spacecraft's detection of an oddly skewed magnetic field. In addition, it found 2 faint rings that had never been seen before, and 10 new moons. Voyager 2's mission was a historic success just because of its flyby, but there was still one more visit to make. When Voyager 2 reached Neptune 3 years later, in the summer of 1989, it was discovered to be a planet significantly more active than Uranus. The spacecraft discovered the vast dark spot here, a huge storm the size of Earth whirling through the deep blue atmosphere of Neptune. With winds capable of tearing through anything in their path, Neptune's winds were the fastest in the solar system. Additionally, Voyager 2 discovered additional moons and verified that Neptune was surrounded by thin, clumpy rings. The most unexpected finding was probably that Neptune was producing more heat than it was getting from the sun, which indicated that energy was being stirred up deep within the planet. Voyager 2 continued after its grand tour was over. The spacecraft continued to send signals back to Earth as it drifted farther and farther away from the sun over the course of decades. It entered interstellar space in late 2018, after passing through the helopor, the invisible line where the sun's influence ceases. Officially, it was no longer in the solar system. Voyager 2 continued to tell us about the space outside our neighborhood, even though we were billions of kilometers away. Strange cosmic radiation bursts, pressure waves traveling through space, and signs of what's between the stars were all picked up by the probe. Voyager 2's survival was not simple. Power levels decreased over the years, forcing the mission team to make difficult decisions on what to shut down. NASA released a fresh software update in 2023 to keep the spacecraft from experiencing the same issues that beset Voyager 1. The thrusters, which are tiny rockets that keep Voyager 2's antenna pointed toward Earth, were also extended by engineers. The spacecraft could permanently lose contact if the antenna moves even a little. Is the discovery of Voyager 1 only an odd space glitch? Or have we at last discovered evidence of something we were never supposed to see? Please share your thoughts with us and don't forget to like and subscribe.